to the morning sip. I hope you guys have had a fantastic day so far. I am sipping on some, oh my God, this black coffee. It is just hitting, okay? It is giving me life. I'm on post-workout right now, about to hit the stream, but man, this right here, it's the shit, okay? That's the best way I can say it. If you guys out there are black coffee lovers, let me know in the comments what are some of your favorites, because I'm always looking for new brands to try. Because ever since I had started fasting, which I want to say we have a morning sip on that one, where we kind of detailed how we got into coffee and how fasting helped our body. Go check out that one. And I talk about my love for black coffee in there as well. But coming up for today's video, we were streaming Valorant the other day and we were watching TED Talks as well. And we came across a video of a guy talking about why chairs are bad for you. Okay. And, you know, as soon as he started talking, I kind of knew where the conversation was going to go, and he got me going. Because if it's one thing that I have been trying to practice over these last few years, is just getting my posture right, understanding how my lifestyle up until this point, as I'm 30 now, has shaped me. Okay. And what pain have I learned to live with? What injuries have I just adapted that never healed? And how did they heal? So, you know, this video goes into detail just about posture, the body. I give some of my life experiences as well. We was talking to the chat while this was going on, so I'm answering some of their questions. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Make sure you like and subscribe if you've been enjoying the YouTube channel. Go check out some of my gaming vids. I be frying kids, okay? Hell, we about 9 subscribers away from 500. Much love and appreciation, man, if you want to stick it around. So, love you guys. Check out the video. Hope you enjoy. Her dad and daddy at all times.
Thank you. So the other day I was giving a talk to a bunch of young models on having a career in the fashion industry. And I really wanted to tell them about my upcoming TED Talk. So I go, hey guys, has anyone here heard of TED? And in typical model fashion, this is the reply I get. Yeah, I've seen them both, and the teddy bear's hilarious. Like, what? The youth of today, it made me laugh so much. I mean, I can't really say much. When I was 15, I wanted to be a bodybuilder. Not just any bodybuilder, though.
Oh, man. I think I know where he's about to go with this one.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. I actually remember day one of my attempt to get a body like this guy. There was this local old school gym in East London, and it looked like something that you might see in a Rocky movie. It was this converted garage space with ripped black benches, rusting barbells,
Sound like a
and
dope
these
gym.
posters of ex-bodybuilding champions on the wall, including Schwarzenegger himself as a goal to aspire to.
Okay.
Now, the day I walked in there, I met the owner, this proper Cockney guy called Dave. I described to him my health and fitness goals in great lengthy detail, you know, just like an adolescent kid does. I want to get massive! But he nodded. You know, he really understood what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
He points at the squat rack, and he says, that over there, son, is how you get big legs. And that over there, pointing to the bench press, is how you get a big chest. And these dumbbells, for big arms. And that's about it. Now off you go, son. So off I did go. Dad.
What up, Juju?
I mean, it was a pretty simple
I was thinking about you the other day, man.
If you can get from A to B
blessed to see another
in 8
24 we are.
You just
Hope you're
add
doing
more weight.
How hope you've been good.
Now, at this time in my life,
Watching
I
TED
hadn't
Talks
yet
right now
studied
and
sports
chilling.
science. So little did I know, but this A to B method I was using, we refer to as overload. Now, the overload theory works like this. If I push my body to failure, meaning I no longer have the capability to do any more repetitions, then when I'm resting, my body simply produces more muscle that allows me to lift more next time. I can then work around the body using this method on each muscle group. Hey presto, one day you have body like Arne. Well, I obviously do not have a body like Arne. In fact, I have a body like a fashion model. And that's because I was scouted in the street and was forced to give up on my bodybuilding dream. So this is one of my first shows. This is me strutting down the catwalk for Calvin Klein. The casting director, thank you. The casting director was backstage before the show, teaching us how to walk in a strong posture. Feet straight, belly button in, shoulders back and down. But why in my early 20s was I being taught how to walk?
I need to get my shoulders back and down, practice
More
that.
importantly, why did walking this way feel so alien? But yet on the outside to the audience, it looks quite powerful. I mean, all they were asking me to do was walk like I was supposed to walk. So I decided to go to a place where just being in strong posture was common practice.
Where is that?
And I was about to meet the person face to face that would destroy my aspiration of Schwarzenegger forever. So I was attempting an exercise called a bridge, an adult gymnastics class, and I just couldn't get my arms straight, let alone my body off the ground.
I appreciate you too, homie.
So the coach calls somebody over.
I'm happy you're doing
demonstrates this
good.
movement effortlessly.
What you been gaming on lately?
She was a 6-year-old girl. This is actually her. Her name is Grace. Amazing. Grace.
I want to learn how to do that.
How sweet. But what I really began to see is the principles being used in gymnastics class were identical to the posture cues are being given backstage during Fashion Week. It's the language of gymnastics that's not based on individual muscles, but based on movements of the joints.
Movements of the joints and movement of the skeleton. This is something that's extremely important, and I will say that it changed the game for me a lot. Understanding the 13 joints on my bodies, moving from the skeleton rather than moving from individual muscles. When I first started working out in 2010, and just like he said, I walked in the gym, rustic gym, bodybuilders on the wall, pictures of all these people who competed locally, big guys, worn and torn gym, and it's like going there, lift heavy, put that motherfucking weight up, and you're gonna get bigger. I aspired to that, and I said, you know what? I got the willpower to do so, and I fucking grind it. But my perception of how I move my body going into the gym, I didn't realize how far off the mark I was at the time, and I wouldn't understand till years later, in which I was trying to heal some of the injuries on my body, loosen up the joints, understanding that when I started when I started like doing my compound movements, like bench pressing, deadlifting, and squatting, from day one in the gym, my body was out of whack. But I lifted out of posture, and I got strong out of posture, and I was able to get bigger. You know, I was able to, you know, the way I was moving with these individual muscles and my perception of movement at the time, it got me strong to a certain point. But through the injuries, the stopping, the starting, and coming back, and my relationship with pain, I had myself in a fucking pretzel. And, you know, I had to go back and reperceive, how do I move at the ankle and the knee and the hip and the wrist and the elbow and the shoulder and the neck, and put them all together, because I had these repetitious movements that were comfortable to me after years of living, from the ways I drove my car to how I sit at the desk to how I game, deadlift, bench press, squats, curled, that shaped me a certain way. And it wasn't until I lost about 40, 50 pounds and I saw my body in a lighter eye, as I was lighter and I was able to see more of my muscles, that I understood why this guy that I was trying to aspire to be with perfect posture and muscle health, and why I looked the way that I did. And the key thing was that, which is something that's hard to teach, was we perceived moving differently, even though to the naked eye in the mirror, it looked the same.
And the skeleton. For example, they use
I'm trying to get into GTA 2. I got it downloaded. I might play some.
Instead of quads, hamstrings. Completely the opposite to what the fitness industry prioritizes. Fitness talks muscles before spine.
Whew. Okay. Fitness talk muscles before spine. I pause because I want to make your comment on for you, Juju. I can talk to us all in the chat as gamers, okay? And as gamers, you know, being a console gamer growing up in an Xbox, I was a controller player. So growing up and on my tube TV, no matter my setup, this was me. I spent a lot of time in this position, okay? And then when I started to put console gaming up and I went to PC gaming, I had a little bit of this in me where most of my body, I rested on my forearms, where I started to rest on my arms in the desk, created trigger points all up in my shoulders and in my hips and everything. But that was what was comfortable. And I was doing something that was fun. Like gaming, it isn't a bad experience to me. Like I do it for joy, even though some rain games can be stressful, but it's still joy in that to me. So even though you can have good stress and bad stress in your life, depending on how you perceive it, stress is still stress. But when it comes down to de-stressing, we have to understand our habits of the past to heal in the future, because you have to return to the scene of the crime. All right. So a lot of us gamers, when we stop gaming, when we move on with life, or our setup changes, at first, to get used to a new setup or to get used to a new environment, it's a lot of aches and pains that come in that first week of gaming, because we've adjusted and it's not use, and we're not in the same position that we was before when we were hitting shots. But we were doing a lot of things that we had a lot of enjoyment, because our generation is the first age of the internet. So I don't know about y'all, but I spent a lot of time at my desk. At 30, I'm understanding how me sitting here, I'm not driving pressure in my feet, I'm resting on my legs. So I'm like this the whole time. Sometimes when I game, and even on casting, it's just I don't want to rest on my butt anymore and have my knees locked. I need to drive pressure with my legs to the ground. So you learn different adjustments to make, and we have to make them now, because I tell you one thing, your past up until this point in your life is about to be dictating your future. If you didn't know that, okay, just so you know. You got to understand that so you can slowly heal in the future, because if your body is twisted up and knotted up in a pretzel, you have to accept the fact that the amount of time it took you to put your body in that position, you need at least half of it probably to get yourself out of it and understand what it is. At least a quarter. Luckily enough, it's smart people out there, and it's people who speak about the body in a language that makes people understand and perceive it better. Because as soon as you perceive movement better, the rest of the body will open up, because you got healthy muscles, you burning more calories. You shredding off that weight. You moving differently. You actually letting energy move through your body the right way, and you're not locking up at the hips. Because I know for a long time, I wasn't balancing my body at the ankles and my feet because they were injured. I had balanced off at the hips. And so my relationship with my legs changed, but the rest of my upper body was growing. But it's all because of my relationship with the legs and how I walked and how I moved and how I sat, how I squatted. And you start to learn, and I think he's about to talk about it right now. I'm going to let him play. But moving from the spine, moving internally from the center, rather than moving from individual limbs and individual muscles, your perception of that will shape your body a specific way.
You see, gymnasts focus on how they are moving their body. And they also just happen to have awesome posture and a really strong core. It's really no coincidence. This is a byproduct of working with the body. In fact, prioritization of the spine is a much smarter approach. If you happen to damage your spinal cord, you can actually lose the ability to move any part of your body. And this is something we've been reminded of our whole lives. Stop slouching. Sit up straight. Engage your core. Get your elbows off the table. They all mean the same thing. All your parents were saying was, prioritize your spine. You see, the thing is, as humans, we were just born with full range of motion. Biochemist Esther Gockley spent time traveling the world and researched places where back pain hardly exists. What she noticed was people's spines with a flatter lumbar curvature didn't suffer from back pain. She referred to this as a J-shaped spine, and you can see the difference in the images here between the S-shaped spine taught in the Western in the spines. Biochemist Esther Gockley spent time traveling the world and researched places where back pain hardly exists. What she noticed was people's spines with a flatter lumbar curvature didn't suffer from back pain. She referred to this as a J-shaped spine, and you can see the difference in the images here between the S-shaped spine taught in the Western world and the J-shaped spine in people where back pain doesn't exist. Gokhale states the J-shaped spine is what you see in Greek statues and in young children universally. What she's saying is, we're all born with a J-shaped spine.
But yep.
Now, you may have noticed when young children pick things up from the ground, they drop down into this perfect squat. This kid, unlike myself, did not need a casting director, nor a 6-year-old Amazing Grace.
But this is something that's extremely important, and I think about this with my son all the time. But naturally, as we're born, we move the way the body is supposed to be moved, but no one teaches us certain things. But as time goes on, as he, maybe starts gaming or watching more TV or goes to school or, starts, feeling the stress of life, that posture is going to slowly sink and dip down. And like, even right now, I am resting on my lower back. Like, I can put some extra torque in curve my abdomen up, which forces me to put pressure on my knees and put more pressure in the ground. And then that makes all these muscles want to loosen up. But naturally, when we're relaxed and we're chilling and we're kicking it and we're watching Netflix and we're in a car and we whatever, it's this relaxed posture and it's comfortable to us. But over time, and I'm talking sometimes years, that's when you see the effects of that shit and start fucking with you.
To teach him this move. In fact, nobody taught him. And no, guys, he's not exercising. This is, in fact, a pre-chair, resting human position.
Pre-chair.
But unfortunately, as a consequence of our current human conditioning or our culture, this natural resting position is about to be taken away from this child.
Over time.
He's about to be taught. A resting position is, in fact, a chair. And when he soon starts school, 7 hours of his day, every day, he will be asked to sit in this, quite frankly, weird
chair
and unhuman position.
And if he don't want to be there, like, man, this teacher boring, I'm bored of school, start resting on that desk, his whole posture about to get fucked up. And I'm speaking from my own experience here, because he is right. And we kind of talked about it for the last video for you guys who was here with me, the advancement of technology and our generation being some of the first where we're seeing the effects on our body and what's happening. The last generation, like our parents, saw with the effects of smoking and drinking, right? Yeah. We saw how all that translated over time. Also, how the effects of retirement when you stop moving the body after years of stress. And now it's just like, all right, yeah, now go sit down in this chair. Who the fuck has taught the kid how to sit? They're like, yeah, sit right here. Relax, get in there. And over time, his positioning and his body's going to change to what he felt comfortable, and it's going to come in little headaches, little aches and pains. It is a slow transition over time.
Now, I didn't even take into account the amount of hours this kid spends watching Peppa Pig. According to the British Chiropractic Association, the total number of people off sick from work with back pain increased last year by 29%. From the survey, the reason for back pain was sitting too long in one position.
Gamers.
So I tried to find a survey totaling the number of 4-year-olds off sick from school with back pain. But would you believe it? I just couldn't find one. You see, we are more than well aware. We are a generation of sitting on our backside human beings.
I'm resting on mine now.
The specific point I would like to bring to your attention today is the fitness industry's ignorance of the spine to have us hooked on task completion, time, weight, and distance. This is for most people measures of improvement and progress. How long can you run
ain't
for?
Good.
How fast can you run? How much can you lift?
No.
How many repetitions can you do? How many calories can you burn? This list is endless. But they're flawed.
Yep.
None of these take into account how you're moving.
Nope.
Or more importantly, how you once could.
Or what your
nothing
perception
can
is
ever
of.
compare or will measure up against the exquisite movement you had as a 3-year-old. A study in 2012 found that musculoskeletal conditions were the second greatest cause of disability in the world, affecting over 1.7 billion people worldwide. Professor Wolf, a world leader in healthcare, describes suffering from musculoskeletal disorders as being like a Ferrari without wheels. If you don't have mobility and dexterity, it doesn't matter how healthy the rest of your body is.
It don't.
So surely the access to a healthy physicality is working back towards full range of motion.
And this working back towards full range of motion means that you have to move the opposite direction of what tightened your body up in the first place. You have to move backwards. You have to return to the scene of the crime in which got you injured. That posture that you injured yourself on, the injury that you took, the hit. Your body's gonna have to go to that same position to heal. That's actually a personal tip I'm giving y'all. That's just
to understand
take it from
how
me.
your body moves and to be able to function like a human. Said simply, the ability to move like you once could when you were a 3-year-old, we can and should start relearning how to move, boy.
From
the examples of children. Ditching these current measures of time, weight, and distance, and spend time unraveling restrictions, getting back the movement we actually once had.
Because that's what it's all about.
All that's left is an aspiration of ourselves in the school playground as a child, able to play and move without fear of injury and using our body's full potential.
Without fear of injury.
And those other results we're aiming for, such as slimmer physique, toned muscles, do come, but as a byproduct of moving the body as it's designed to function best. There's a famous Chinese proverb, you are as old as your spine. In all honesty, I'd have more chance teaching penguins how to fly than humans a better way to sit on a chair. We're just not designed to do it. Today, I'm going to leave you with a powerful standing posture. In cultures where the J-shaped spine exists, people's butt muscles engage every time they take a step. It's one reason they have these strong butt muscles that support their lower back. To demonstrate how the standing posture works, I will need a bit of audience participation. So I need you all to be standing. So.
Your name is Morpheus now with these
so
jewels
please stand with
dropping.
Your feet together and facing forwards. Now push the heels of the feet against each other. Not the toes, but the heels. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Now hold.
Oh, shit.
Hold this tension. Squeeze.
I hit.
I want you to just notice what happened to the glute muscles as a consequence of pushing the heels together.
But oh my God, my knees are like separating.
On these muscles. We focused on a movement. This is movement first philosophy, which I spoke of earlier. Focus on a movement, muscles follow suit. We move efficiently, the body recruits the right muscles for the job. Standing here with your heels pushed together is now your new stance.
Yep.
Actually, if I can just get you guys to hold this while I finish my last paragraph.
I'm about to gain.
You might just have to give me a standing ovation.
I'm about to gain with this stance.
By taking a lesson from my kid self, it took me 2 years at the age of 30 to finally get back my resting position.
It took him 2 years. Some people know me, and I'm like, yo, it took me like a year to just learn how to walk again.
My resting position. Maybe we should all take a lesson from our kids' selves. We should stop teaching kids how to sit on their ass. We should lead by example and move like them. Thank you.
Wow, that was gold. That was gold. Oh, man. Just him speaking of it. And, you know, this is stuff that I've studied over these last few years and I've learned. But you know, like the thing is, he's right, because when we move correctly, we will activate the right muscles that we need to come in for any given movement that we have here. And I told people 2 years ago, it was like the 2019. I was telling people, I was like, yo, yeah, I lost my first 40 pounds off of dieting. But the last 25 that got me down to like that 200 area only came because I fixed my walking position. Because my hips and my legs were so inflamed that my body was holding weight there to keep me balanced, and the muscles were not active. So by fixing my walking position and using more muscles in my leg and changing it up, I started burning more calories there so that fat couldn't sit. I dropped to 25 pounds, okay? And then the next thing you know, I got plateaued around 200. And I know that that last 200 pounds comes from my lower back because it's offline. My left and my right hip are off. And that's because I have a pivot foot. My left leg is, I put a lot of my weight on there because of my injured right hip from deadlifting back in the day. And all of these injuries have shaped me. But I realized that if I can just go back to the right movement, all the other muscles will loosen up around it. But I had put myself in a position where that, because I was using the wrong muscle for so long, and I had other muscles having to put in more work than some, that I had imbalances on each side. And that shit is annoying. But as he said, when we were walking, we have to learn how to flex our glutes more. We have to be able to flex them when we're sitting and not be resting on our butts, because if not, we're just going to keep storing the stress in our hips. And then that's going to start tightening up all the other muscles in our bodies that we don't have issues with, but it will happen over time, because all your muscles are going to be connected here towards your abdomen and hip. If your hip's jacked up, next thing you know, your one of your ankles can come in and compensate because you have a messed up hip. Or sometimes it's actually, you might get a messed up knee or an ankle, your hip compensates for it. The next thing you know, that starts messing up the function of that opposite shoulder on the other end. And next thing you know, you get this tightness in your left shoulder. He's like, what the hell is going on? But it's how the pain has translated over time, and other muscles keep kicking in because of this one injury. Okay, one ankle injury will twist up your whole body over time because of you adjusting to avoid the pain. Okay, this is why I enjoy swimming more than running for cardio. You spend more time utilizing natural movement with muscles and stay dormant doing classic basic exercises, and that's 100% true, Ranty. And I actually want to get into swimming more because of that. Because also the weight of the water on your body and how you move through that, I can use water to stretch. I love stretching in big bodies of water because I know how to relax my muscles in a way where I can let the flow of the water move my muscles in a direction in which they want to go to. Stretching in water is so dope. Really nice. So I'm trying to get Bubble Butt any advice. Squeeze your glutes right now. Everybody squeeze them. Okay, if you know, lift your toes off the ground, go on your heels. Okay, like he said, squeeze the inside of your heels together and then squeeze your glutes. I got all my muscles cracking in my body right now and trying to return to their natural position, because for me personally, I remember I was telling somebody this, because we all have different heights. I got homies that 5 feet tall. I got homies that 6'6", but the way that, you know, cars and seats on trains and doors are all designed a specific way to like an average height. We all have to understand how we use our bodies the best way throughout the world and how we move. Because as a big guy, one thing for me, when I sat down, I always sat with wide legs. I always had a wide stance because I felt like I needed the space, I guess, for my big ass balls. I don't know, but you know, I always sat with the wide stance and I was comfortable. But I never was able to get the positioning of my legs inside. The next thing you know, my hips got shaped to that wide stance, and I never came inward at my natural perfect position and moved from there. My body adjusted from that wide stance, but that may be a big guy problem. Somebody who's 5 feet may not have those same issues. You know, he may have an issue with his feet dangling too much. Okay, and he can't put no pressure with his feet on the ground. So we have to understand you know, how life has shaped our bodies, and because it's all unique across the board. All right. Yeah, wow, that was a great one. I need to give that a like. Definitely need to give that a like. This video is titled.